Hello friends, I hope everyone is doing well. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to continue working on this Craftsman snow thrower. Um, in a previous video that I made on this, it had a no start problem, so I took the carburetor off, cleaned it out, then it started up, then I went to engage the auger, and it bogged and I think it stalled. So while I was editing the video, I saw when I engaged the auger that there was smoke bellowing out of the belt cover here. So the belt was slipping and something's causing some kind of binding in there. So today we're going to take it apart and see what's going on with it. I may have to change the belt since it started burning like that. Let this jet go by here. Also, I have a couple of updates. If you remember, if you've been following my videos, we worked on an Echo PB500H back blower, and it had the intermittent bogging problem. And I found that the fuel filter was clogged, and we replaced the primer bulb, and I put a brand new spark plug in it. Yeah, after I spoke to the owner, he said he knows he's had it at least 10 years. So maybe it wasn't just a question of dirt clogging the fuel filter. Over time, with the way the fuel is today, and being that you have to mix it with two-stroke oil, it probably took its toll on the fuel filter. At any rate, I told him to call me after he uses it the first time and let me know how it's doing. He called me, he used it, he said it's doing great. So I'm satisfied with that. That was good news. Also, we had the MTD push blower powered by the Honda engine. On that, I had to get it running, and I cleaned out the gas tank and whatever else I had to do to that. And some of you wanted to know the outcome on the sale of it. So I put it for sale. 4 days later, I had somebody come and buy it for $150. So that sold pretty much right away. I'm going to take the $100 profit, and I just usually just take that money and put it back into the channel so we could buy more projects to do and parts and supplies and whatever. So I'll get the camera set up, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the belt cover off, and we'll see what's going on in there. And okay, and that's it. So it evidently looks like the pad is rubbing down here. I took the key out of the ignition, so we don't have to worry about anything with that. Seems like it's just binding in one spot here, but I'm not sure if we could adjust the auger. Like rolling it back, it seems to be where it's binding up. The bearings and all that, I thought maybe it would be inside the bearings here. Everything's new though, I don't know if we could adjust that. It doesn't look like you could adjust it, so it's not hitting anything, the pads here. Alright, so in the meantime, we'll take the belt off and see what's going on in there. Okay, so with the one bolt, you're going to need a 1/2 inch socket. We'll take that one out first. Is there a nut behind this? Or seems like there's a nut behind this or something. I don't know. Alright, let me take these other two out in the meantime here. For these two bolts here, you'll be using a 3/8 socket. And then I'll see what's going on with that other bolt. If it's a nut in a bolt or what. Really grab that with the magnet. Yeah. I'm hoping the shroud here didn't get bent and be causing the problems. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna see if that's a nut and a bolt or what, and then I'll get right back to you. It just seems like a bolt that's hard to get out. I think it goes into the engine block or whatever. So we'll use a 3/8 inch drive setup here with the 1/2 inch socket. I guess we have to put a little oil on that bolt before we put it back in. I'll clean it up and oil it up. Spray a little WD on it or something. Okay, this has a V belt on it. You should be able to just spin this belt right off here. See, when you pull the lever, it tightens the belt to make the auger work. Might have to pull one of these pulleys off. I'm not really sure to get this belt off. But I really wouldn't trust this belt anymore after what happened here. Maybe I could just spin this off. You always want to spin it off the big pulley is your best bet. I'm going to try to do that. Let's see, is it a big deal to... I'll get right back to you. We'll try to do it by just taking this pulley off here, and then I could probably roll the bolt off. Just be careful when you take these pulleys off. Sometimes there's spacers and nuts and all kinds of stuff on there that you don't want to lose. What the heck is this already? Oh, it's got some kind of it's got one of those press-on bolt locks. That we're probably never going to be able to get back on there again. But as long as you tighten this bolt up that holds everything on, you'll be alright. I'm getting the feeling this is a bad idea, taking this pulley off. Because now we got this other thing here that went on here. That's the only thing that holds this rod on here is that retainer. I don't know. Everything's just made so awful and cheap these days. See if I can roll this belt off. The reason why I'm doing all this is because I want to make sure that nothing else is binding here. This is going to be a pain in the neck too, I can say already. You see what kind of surprises I'll have if I take this pulley off. Because that belt is pretty tight on there. Yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to have to address this with the other pulley, with this thing. It's only held on by that stupid retainer clip. It makes no sense to me. Alright, let me take this bolt off and this pulley off, and then we'll take it from there. In fact, so far, this pulley's fine. There's nothing wrong with this pulley at all. So, that takes care of that problem. I might have to bump that bolt off that holds the engine pulley on with air gun or something. So I'll be right back to you. So far, this machine's a real hunk of junk. I went to put the tensioner pulley back on here, and this bolt that holds it on, it just keeps turning and turning and turning. Okay, so now you have this other rod here, which what you want to do is, before you start tightening this the pulley bolt on, you want to make sure this is lined up, because that's what holds this rod on here, because the bolt is so long here, and it'll keep this rod from falling out. That retainer clip that goes on there, it's just a backup support, which really does nothing. So now what I'm going to have to do is, since this bolt here, where are we? Since this bolt here is stripped and keeps turning and turning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nut and put it on here and tighten that up real good. But first I got to loosen this to where I can get this linkage back on here, and then I'll be able to tighten the nut and the bolt, and this bolt will be sticking out far enough to accept that piece of linkage here so it doesn't fall off, and I'll just put that cheapo retainer back on. So in the meantime, I'll have to try to back this bolt out. I can't even back the bolt out. It's just like, it went in pretty easy, but it wouldn't tighten up. So I'll get back to you after I do that. And another problem is, if you have to change a belt on this in a hurry, you're in trouble. I took the engine shaft pulley off right here. It has a keyway in there. You would have to take that off to pop the belt off, or since you have to take this off already anyway, you could probably just get away with popping this out, because look now, the belt doesn't even clear the pulley and the shroud here. It's like ridiculous. And we still don't know if we can fix that problem with the auger rubbing in there. So I'll get back to you. Let me sort out these problems that I ran into here, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I'm doing a complete upgrade on the bolt. I'm using a brand new 1/4-inch bolt, and I put a washer on there, and it's extra long. This way, when I get it threaded through this bracket over here, as I start running it through the bracket, I'm going to start putting a nut on it, and then I'm going to start wheeling it in, and then we got to hook this piece of linkage on there, and then with a wrench I could hold the nut that's going to be behind this bracket here and tighten it up real good, like it should have been made in the first place, and then we won't have any problems. And this bolt will be long enough to where it'll hold this linkage on without falling off. What a ridiculous way they put stuff together. I don't know how they put their name on stuff anymore, any of these companies. You constantly have to modify everything everybody does. But in the meantime, it makes a good video anyway. So yeah, I figure I might as well just do this while you watch me do it. And now I'll put a washer on there like it should have had in the first place, and then I'll start running the nut on here, and as we turn this bolt in, I can have this linkage hooked up, which I'm going to have to probably hook that up already, the way it looks. So Okay, so I got that on there. And now I'm just going to have to hold this nut here from locking against the bracket until I get this tightened up. Okay, so I should still be able to get the wrench in here to hold it while we tighten it up. Ridiculous. I want to make this pretty tight too. Oh, shit. That's tight. Yeah, that should be fine. Now we just gotta make sure our yeah, that all works. What if I should put a little spray in this? Was I hurting it by putting nuts on here? I mean, washers? Nah. No, it shouldn't make any difference. I should be alright. Like I said, this thing's a piece of crap to begin with, so. Just want to make sure this is tight enough. Double check, triple check, whatever it takes to do the job. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Alright, so that's how you get on with. That should really spin really easy, and it's not. So I'm not really too satisfied with this. I wonder if I should take the pulley off and just spray it. But maybe because it's so new. It's alright. It's not binding or anything. I would say it would be alright. It's a sealed bearing. So. Alright. I'm going to put this other pulley back on here. And then we'll take this pulley off here. And see if we can fix the auger. Ridiculous. Okay, so just so you know, I put that little lock washer. I forgot what you call those things. Anyway, I slid it back on the. I slid it back on this bolt here. Whatever it does, it does. To me, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so being that you have to take this pulley off to change the belt, I'd like to know if you know any homeowners at home that have a 22 millimeter socket kicking around. You know. I mean, if you snap a belt on this while you're at home working on this and you don't have the tools, you have to take it to a repair shop, you know? Okay, let's see. Let's make sure there's no anything to worry about here. Okay, so this has like a star. It's a star, and it just goes right over this here. And I'm going to pull both of these off here. And we'll see what's going on with the auger. Is that adjustable? Okay. No, I don't know. This is notched in here, but I think it just goes right into this piece here. I don't think you could adjust the auger, but we'll see. Let me check it out some more, and we'll see what's going on with that. Ridiculous. Okay, so this has a 1/2 inch V belt on it. Had this been a serpentine belt, it's the belt that's wider and it has the grooves in it. The belt would have been cooked with it you know, slipping like that. But these 1/2 inch V belts are pretty durable, and it didn't do any damage at all. I'm checking for damage, so he'll be all right with this belt. And I thought he likes to carry spare stuff. I'll tell him to pick up another belt for this. The belt number is right on here. It's an MTD number, and I guess it's, you cross-reference it or whatever. And I'll tell him to be sure to carry a 22 millimeter socket with him. But he usually carries all his tools with him anyway, as I do when we go plowing. So I think he'll be all right with that. Okay, I just wanted to show you the belt real quick before I forget. Okay, so I didn't do anything with this but take that pulley off the other side. And seems to be fine. I don't feel any play. Everything's pretty stiff here. Although I can't move it backwards. It gets stuck. Which way would this thing spin when you have it on the machine? This way, right? Yeah, I would say so. Because it's going to scoop the snow into the... It's not going to spin this way because then you're blowing the snow away. So it spins this way, but it doesn't spin the other way. I'm going to stick the pulley back on it and see what it's like before we put the belt back on. I'll tighten that nut up that holds the pulley on. Because that pulley goes on to where the shaft comes out. So let me try that and see what's going on. This gets funnier and funnier every minute. Okay, it still spins pretty freely, so we're going to stick the belt back on it, and then after I put the belt on, I'll take you off camera and put the cover on. You saw how I took the cover off, and then what I'll do is I ran it out of gas the other day like I said I was going to. That was yesterday, as a matter of fact. I ran it out of gas, so I'll just put a little bit of gas back in it, and I'll run it, and then I'll run it out of gas again, because who knows if it's going to snow this year or not. So let's see if we get away with not taking this nut all the way off and slip the belt on. I highly doubt it. I don't think so. Now you have to take the pulley all the way off. Now you just take your belt and slip it around here on this pulley here. I wonder if you would want to stick it on here too while you're at it. Yeah, you actually can do it that way. Because it would be a lot easier to put the belt on like this while you have this apart. And just line up those stars here. Which I'm having trouble doing. Nah, I can't do it that way. I'll just spin the belt on once I get this to on here. I can spin it on. Oh. Okay, listen. When you pull the bell back, it takes this away from the pulley here. Let's see if I can explain it better. Let me put the belt on and then I'll be right back to you and I'll explain something to you. Okay, so what you want to do is once you put your belt around this pulley here to put the pulley back on, you want to release your, it's not releasing it, it's engaging the bell on the handle for the PTO, because this has a guide on here. So when you let go of the bell and this goes all into neutral, this is hitting this belt to guide it, because now you have no tension on the belt. That keeps the belt from jumping off the pulley. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. So after you get this pulley on with the belt on, Then you're going to want to release the valve. Okay, so you're able to jump the belt on here, which is not going to be easy. I don't know how the heck they expect you to do this. I might have to take this pulley off again, and I'll just slide the whole thing back on with the pulley. Oh my God, what is this with this thing? Ridiculous. Okay, after carefully looking at the crank pulley, it's a two-piece pulley here. So what they want you to do is, which I had a hard time splitting this apart. What you want to do is split it apart and then get your belt on here and then get this other piece on here. I got the sun directly right in my face, right in my eyes. Right? And put your bolt in here. And I suggest just run it in first with a ratchet without using any power tools. And then I'll lock it up with the air gun. Because I was going to say, it'd be pretty tough to try to get this belt on without something, without this pulley here being a two-piece pulley. I had a hard time getting it apart, but I looked in the center in there and it looked to me like it was two pieces, so I just took the hammer and just tapped it and then it came loose. So now I'll just take the air gun and just give it a couple of that's good. Not going anywhere. And now you push your belt down, now your belt's tight. So what I'm going to do now is I'll take it off the table and then we'll give it a start. I got to put gas in there. Like I said, I got to put the cover on. I should leave the cover off and try it first, but I'm just going to put the cover on it. There's nothing really more I can do. So, okay, I'll be back with you. At the end of the previous video, I was saying, after I cleaned the carburetor out, it started up okay and everything, but it still was surging. Okay, so now when I took it off the table here to test the auger belt and everything, I had a hard time starting it. I got it started. It would only run on like half choke. When I took the choke off, it would stall. So I did another carburetor cleaning again. And, just to let you guys know, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to clean out the carburetor. So with the little bit of gas that I put in it, I added another shot of sea foam in it, and I'm going to let it run. And my friend Joe was just here and everything, and he aired it run and everything. And I told him I want to hang on to it for a couple of days. Like I always tell you guys, hang on to the machines for a couple of days. Okay, so let's start it up and see how it does as far as the auger goes. Yeah, I know it works, but I want you guys to see. I forgot to make sure the bowl was tight, so I tightened it up a little bit. Okay, so there you have it. If you have to make modifications on these, like you do with every other new machine, that's how I did the belt tensioner. You don't always have to do that, but that thing was made, even the bolt that went in there that held the pulley out was really cheap. So that's the way I fixed it. It should be fine until something else breaks on it. We'll see how he makes out in the winter with it. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one, and please stay safe.